Now that we're past the point of saying things that are unrecordable, which none of us had anything to say that wasn't recordable, this is the beginning of the podcast for everyone. In case you were wondering when you hit play and it started, this is the beginning. So let's roll this motherfucker.
Chad, welcome back.
Thank you. It was a good trip. Nice to be back. A little relaxation for a week. It's way colder here than it was out there. It's insane. Like there was a 50-degree difference between Dominican and here when we landed. It was like minus 20 some. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's massive action if there ever was massive action.
That's massive action. Holy.
I saw you taking some massive action today, Chad, buying the ASV skid steer.
Yeah. We had a new skid steer. The massive action was probably the price point on it. It was fucking expensive, that thing. Canadian, I think it all in we're about 120 grand.
Wow. How big is it?
Stupid. It's I think it's like 8,000 pounds, so smaller than like a Bobcat T595 or something. Can't quite lift a pallet as far as I know. But I mean, we bought it for.
I've only run one machine that had no cage. It was the new Bobcat T76.
I've never even seen it. Do they not?
They don't have like they don't have the wire mesh the same. And I found it like really freaky. I felt like I could reach. I don't know. When I saw yours today, I was like, "Wow, that thing is really open. Like there is like it's even more than the Bobcat one. It's more open, which is great for vision and cleaning the glass." But
yeah. So we'll keep a bottle of Windex in there or something. But no, it's nice to be able to see. Like I only spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes in it today. Like I loaded up myself on my Haggard ramps, the banana ramps there that I've got. So we loaded that today. It went all right. Unloaded it at the shop, brought it right in the shop, and that was it. Just stared at it for 10 or 15 minutes.
I like the chain down on the back. Like you made a point of talking about the chain. Like it had real welded on D-rings on the fucking back of the machine. I was like, that's sick. Like,
it's got probably the best tie down spots that you could imagine. Like they're so easy to get to and stuff. And with the Bobcat, we were never sure, right? Like sometimes the guys would have a long chain and they'd like use a bar to push it through that big hole in the center.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have enough chains or something like that. But this way, like we cut all our short chains. Like this should work. This machine should just be ready to go.
Do your forks from Bobcat just fit on it?
I don't know. Whenever we bought our case loader, they said we have a skid steer coupler on it. So they're like, yeah, you'll be able to use all your attachments. We tried to put the Bobcat forks on it and they didn't go. So I don't know if it's the case interface that's wrong or the Bobcat interface that doesn't work, but something doesn't work. So
I think when we had cases in Bobcats, we drilled the forks out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Like there was like it was off by like 1/8 of an inch or something. It was like it just wouldn't like the quick attach just wouldn't push down or like you had to have it so perfectly centered or I can remember fucking with it somehow. I don't remember exactly what we did, but because we had case skid steers and Bobcat skid steers.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll play around with it. Like anything, there's going to be a little growing pains to it, but hopefully we can get it dialed in and put it to work.
Do your guys always run pilot controls?
Yeah, actually, our T595 has both, right? You can flip the pattern. I learned on hand and foot controls ages ago, but I feel like the last time I tried to run hand and foot controls, like I almost dumped my machine forward, right? Because as soon as you start to go forward and your feet go forward, then the whole thing sort of like shoots you forward. I don't know, but
our 595 goes from H pattern to pilot.
Yeah, same as ours.
But the only person that works at our company, that runs H pattern is me. Everyone else runs pilot.
Really? So you still run hand and foot?
No, H pattern. It's still just all hands, but it's H pattern. It's like case controls. So your T595 is direct hydraulic, right? So your sticks are going directly into the hydraulic, and then you have feet. So you can go H pattern, or yours basically will run in H pattern or foot controls, right?
I thought pilot was just hands and
I, pilot
each
is one
pattern is
hand.
hand and foot.
Pilot is one hand steers the machine around, one hand
Yeah.
works the bucket.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're all
That's,
used to now.
so the ASV will do that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same.
Does your 595 have foot pedals, or is it a lot
Yeah.
electronic?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah, so
you
you
can.
have one that's still direct drive.
Okay. Oh,
Ours
that's
is
good.
ours is electronic over hydraulic. I don't know. It depends. Some people like Kubotas are all, and that ASV one is probably direct drive because it doesn't switch. It's only pilot controls.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, so you can't, when they're set up like that, you can't switch them.
Which
So
is
it
fine. I can't foresee anybody having to switch.
the only person who switches ours is me.
Are you
Everyone
close to
runs.
learning? Like you just don't like to do things the easy way? Obviously. You've
Well,
always said
no,
you don't like to do things the easy way.
I don't ever learn anything, and I don't like to do anything the easy way. I think that's apparent. Uh,
So
so I can competently run pilot controls because I've spent a lot of time around mass amounts of Kubota SVLs. So I can competently run pilot controls, but it's not my natural reaction. And if I did it for 2 days, I'm fine. But
yeah,
because it's not my natural reaction, and I actually don't run skid steers a lot last year. Like I didn't spend a lot of time. I just put it in H pattern because then it's, first of all, it's my fucking machine and I own it. So I'll run it in the pattern that I want. And then secondly, it's just, that's my nature. It's my first, and like, but like I've loaded tons of, and actually run tons of Kubotas that are pilot. I
yeah,
don't mind it. I hated it at first, but I don't mind it now. It's okay. I just, when I first started doing it, I have to take my hand off the bucket because I'll be driving along and then my hand will slowly creep forward, pushing forward because I'm used to pushing both sticks forward. And then the bucket will start rifling up in the air and shit will go everywhere. So I just take my hand off it till I get, till I've done it for a few hours and then I'll be okay.
and recalibrate yourself.
Recalibrating my brain takes a few hours. Not like not an instantaneous thing at all.
We have the same debate with when we're in our skid steers. Like I run one set of controls and my operator runs the opposite set of controls, and we'll always get in the machine and the bucket will slam down because the opposite one of us was in there first, and like, who's running these Chinese controls, and we're yelling at each other and stuff. And thankfully, Kubota moved the switch. Now it's no longer like between your legs where you need to take the key and open the little
Yes.
hatch and flip the pattern. Now it's like right there. Now you can do it
Yeah.
pretty easily. But
Yeah. On the 4 tons, it's right beside you.
yeah, yeah,
Right beside. Yeah. On the eight
yeah.
tons, you still got to unlatch the
Oh
box.
no,
Yeah.
really. For years, I've been telling my guy, "You got to learn my pattern." He's like, "No way, your way's wrong. Your way's the French way or something," and we'll just poke fun at each other back and forth.
Yeah. Our operator, Drake, he runs Cat and I run John Deere. So we
So
switch it
I,
back and forth all the time.
I think I run John Deere as well,
You're an
but
old landscaper, so you probably run John Deere.
yeah, yeah, like, and everybody says it's the farmer way or something like that, and then
So
all the
goddamn
new guys are
farmers.
like, "No, you got to do it this way," and so on. Whatever
Dying
you
breed,
feel.
dying breed, baby.
That's it, eh?
Dying breed.
I guess
Me and my aging myself H pattern.
yeah, yeah.
RS70 is just foot controls, right?
RS70.
We have no the R like R like our
Oh, our
like
S70.
Paver Kings.
Yeah.
S70 is just sticks and feet controls.
Oh yeah. That's
See, everyone grows up running pilot now because all the MTs run in pilot controls.
yes. Yeah. But
So 99% of landscapers start off on an MT.
you think 99% are on an
Oh,
MT stick?
nowadays, yeah, like
Nowadays.
every startup company, the first thing they buy is some kind of mini skid steer, or what do you call those things? I don't know. They're
Yeah,
not all
mini skid
MTs.
steers. We
There's
had
Walk-behind.
tractors to start, like,
ditch witches and
yeah.
mammoths and Vermeers and MTs, and that's the first thing that like everyone bought. I get it. I get why they do it too, because you can step on and off it, and there's
Yeah,
lots of
they're very easy
lots
to
of advantages to it. I'm just fucking old and I want to sit down, so I have an SUV.
At Congress, I saw tons of those coming on the market.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
talked to the guys from Mammoth. They
Oh,
had
yeah?
it seemed like a really the price was because we talked to Vermeer and it was like 57,000, and then the Mammoth did everything comparable. It was built out of half-inch steel. It had a Kubota motor, and it had all Italian hydraulics, and it was 28 grand.
Hmm.
And I was like, if you need to service it, it's all like fairly common items, and the track size is similar to other track sizes, and like it's not. There was nothing, because you're always worried, like if you buy something that's maybe a little bit off-brand, how am I servicing it? But I don't know. We looked at it pretty hard. I was going to go look at one for next year, depending on what work we pick up. But of course, we've picked up no work, so it hasn't been a problem.
really
No problems because we
nothing
have.
has come in.
I haven't even gotten any phone calls. I priced a big commercial stone wall that's like 2 hours from our fucking yard, but
Maybe it's the same one that I priced this week. Ready Rock?
no, it's the other way.
Oh, other way.
2 hours west. That's like 5 hours from you.
No, that's 6 or 7 hours from me.
Yeah,
Yikes.
it was
We won't go there.
it's like guillotine natural stone, but it's holding up a parking lot, and I'm like, yo, bro, like you need some grid and stuff here. You're holding up a parking lot with
Good
guillotine.
luck. So how does the engineering work on that?
It's
Because
for a private developer, so he just kept saying, "This is a private development." I was like, "Okay, whatever, man. As long as you pay me, I really don't care."
our
I brought it up. I sent an email. You told me I had to go fuck myself, so I priced it the way you had it.
you
Whatever.
got it. Easy as pie. Our email has been lighting up this week with commercial tenders, RFQs. It's been good. It's nice to see things start to pop off. And this is the time to do it, usually February, March. That's when all our commercial tenders come in for the year.
Look for them east of you, and then
East.
I'll do them.
Actually, well, for the most part, they're north of me, so Ottawa, and then they're all west of me. If they were
right.
east of me, they would be right in Quebec, right?
Well, west is the one that you're looking for.
Sorry, I'm looking for west.
Yeah.
You're east of me, but I'm west of you.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So you want jobs west of me?
I want jobs west of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brockville.
Belleville. Brockville's a bit far.
Is
Maybe.
that,
Brockville?
yeah. Isn't that west of you?
Yeah, it's within an hour. What do we have in Brockville? Nothing. We have some in Kingston.
Hmm.
Want to come work in Kingston?
I currently, yeah.
We got tons of work in Kingston.
Goddamn right. I'll go to Kingston. I'm not scared.
Sorry.
Kingston doesn't scare me.
Oh, nothing
Doesn't-
scares me. It's just
Kingston is not frightening. It doesn't. Yeah, it's they got the penitentiary, but I'm not scared. I think all of our guys are not. No one's looking for them. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure no one's looking for any of them.
Nice.
Pretty sure. I guess I'm being Debbie Downer. I priced some porcelain tile on a roof. I got a request for that. 8,000 square feet up on some building.
On the pedestals, or is it
on pedestals? Yeah.
I
don't know. It seemed like they wanted it done in end of March, start of April, and you're not fucking around in the mud. So
do you have to shovel the roof if there's snow on it, or
I have shoveled a roof to lay pavers in my time, and then pickled the sand so we could grade it.
pickled the sand?
Mixed the sand on the roof with salt and got her nice and loose, and
Oh,
then
Really?
graded it up and laid those motherfucking pavers.
a briny
Wow.
sand mix.
We were pickling the sand up on the roof for the Holiday Inn in Toronto. So if those pavers are rotten, you know why? Because we literally laid them on bags of salt, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, right
I was 20 years ago. It was a long time ago. It was very long ago that happened. Maybe
We
not, maybe 8 years long ago.
our last big commercial job, we tried to get the spec switch from sand to like a HPB or like we
Yeah.
used 1/4 inch chip here, and I had a meeting with the architect about it, and he's like, "No, we can't because it rots the bottom of the pavers." And I'm like, "You don't understand what I'm trying to tell you." And he's like, "Well, yes, I'm the arch." He showed his ring and all this fucking other bullshit, and he's
Here's
like,
my
"No, you
ring.
have to use sand," and whatever. I'm
You
not
need
gonna
the
fight about
vertical. You need the fucking vertical lock, man.
it. Yeah.
You got the vertical lock on the pre-compaction. Do the pre-compaction. Boom, get the vertical lock.
No, it's whatever. We bent over and did it on sand like we were supposed to. So either way, job looks good.
Sand sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it. It blows
Actually,
away, dries out.
on that same job 2 years ago, we laid the whole thing, but it was December, right? Like it was cold. We laid it all and then it flash froze before we compacted it. So we never got to compact the pavers into the sand. And I was worried about it all winter. I'm like, what's gonna happen when the loaders drive on this thing whenever it's semi thawed out and they're trying to clear the snow and stuff. And we went back and it was completely fine. So
That's
I don't know.
because of your tremendous level of quality.
Yeah, that must be my tremendous level of commercial quality
The
associated with our
tremendous.
low bid.
Low, low-
Low
hey,
bid.
low bid built the space shuttle. Say what you
Yeah,
want.
that's it, right? Like that's
Like
the terrible.
9 out of 10 launches are successful.
Every building you see, everywhere,
Everything you see everywhere.
everything is low
Doesn't
bid.
matter
I mean,
what it
other
is.
than custom homes, maybe, like most of the structures you
Yeah.
see go up are low bid.
Almost it's fucking driving over the bridge on the 401. Every time you cross a bridge and
It's
you look down 500 feet, you remember that motherfucker was built by low bid. And
not
that and on top of that, the guy the company that was low bid on the bridge, they used every low bid supplier of materials
yeah, and low
to
bid
get to low bid. So someone looked at the steel in the bridge and was like, "Yeah, I can get shittier steel and get away with it."
Yeah.
It's true. Like
We've done a bridge job, and I won't say the client because there's only so many guys here who build bridges. But we were grading out stone dust to put these giant foam blocks on, and these blocks are probably like I'd say 100 pounds or whatever, but they're like 4 by 8 by 4 cubes of foam, like structural foam, and they ended up getting them from some supplier that God knows, but they weren't all uniform. But the base had to be perfectly uniform. So they only figured out on the fourth day, whenever they were laying blocks, that our 3 mil variance didn't mean anything because the blocks varied like 10 mil.
the
So
blocks themselves.
yeah, the blocks that they were putting them on didn't. So they were mixing and matching and trying to get things right. But anyway,
When we
we
were
drive over it now. So
no one's died.
no one has died.
When we were bidding commercial stuff, we tried to pick incredibly complex things that no one else would bid and then be incredibly accurate at it. And that way you can be low, because I remember one time we were bidding this like parking garage and you had to backfill it from the parking garage. It was like 15 or 16 feet of backfill. You had to build big mounds of dirt to put trees in, and it was a whole bunch. And the parking garage wasn't flat, it was up and down, and it was really weird. And it took days to figure out the actual volume on the parking garage. But like 3 people bid it, and our volumes were right, like right down to we hauled in 300 loads of gravel, and like the 310th load was the last one, and it was literally the last load. Like our volumes were absolutely perfect, but we were the low bid, and everyone's like, "Oh, those guys are," but really the other 2 guys just looked at it and were like, this is fucking nuts. Fuck it, $3 million. I know I'm good.
Yeah.
So we didn't win the job by necessarily being low. We won the job by being accurate. So there's a couple ways to win commercial. Like if you pick really weird shit that no one else wants to do, and then like we were the masters. Yeah, like we were the masters of stupid shit that no one else would bid. And that's all we did. We did like interior courtyards in a hospital where we had to go through underground tunnels and build massive sets of conveyors, and because it was no one else wanted to do it. Like just there was like two bidders, one bidder. Like we built this like crazy weird sign going into Peterborough. Like like no one else. I think we were the only bidder on this like municipal because it was the stupidest, weirdest sign. It was, and you had to build. I don't think we ever talked about that story. Like there's where the 35-115 ends on the 7, I think, and then you're going, and so you keep going west. I think it's 7A, whatever. Anyways, where 35-115 ends, there's these like huge footings in the ground because one of our contracts was to put this sign in as this huge sign, crazily expensive. Welcome to Peterborough. So we put in these footings, and the footings were massive. Like the footings were like $10,000 footings. Like they're because you're talking about huge sign. You know what sign footings were. And someone, when we were doing it, someone showed up and was like, "Hey, you can't put these footings here. They have to be breakaway. They're on a Trans-Canada highway because this is like a Trans-Canada highway that goes into Peterborough, and there's all these weird rules, and none the footings met zero of the rules." So we called the guy for the town who was in charge of this job and who had, fucking designed it and picked all the spots and said, "Hey, like these footings are in, like you're paying us for them, but I don't even know how to get them out of here because it's like 5 concrete trucks worth of concrete in these footings and rebar." And he said, "Just leave them." And I said, "Well, what do you want to do with the sign?" And he said, "Oh, bring it." We brought it to some backward ass Peterborough yard and stuffed it in the very back and then piled other stuff on top of it. And they paid us and just pretended it all never happened.
Wow.
And when we're going up to Kelly's parents, we drive by, the footings are still fucking there with all the wood around them, like from 10 years ago.
Why can't I have stuff like that happen to me? Like get paid for a job that I never have to finish.
We did all the work. The only thing we didn't do was erect the sign.
Did you have to put that in your scope to put the sign up?
No, we had a sign guy doing it. Like whoever built the sign was putting it up.
For some reason, I always get roped into putting up people's signs. Like I'll have the job to put the footing in the post or whatever, and then can you just put up the sign? And it's not like an old lady or something. But yeah, I'll put up your sign. Put in your sign.
They know how to play it. Send the old lady.
Old lady wandering around with, "Can you put up my sign?"
Yeah.
I've gotten roped into putting like all the parking lot signs up, and that fucking sucks because parking lot sign T-bars or whatever you want to call them are like 14 feet long and got to go 9 feet in the ground, and like post pounding those motherfuckers sucks.
What's an ideal, like when you get one of these RFQs? What's an ideal commercial job that when it comes, you want this job?
Topsoil work.
Topsoil work
and a big field.
Why is that?
Because you're just moving material with the skid steer and then power raking it, and then if you're lucky, they'll let you hydro seed it.
If you're lucky.
That whole scope is easy and brainless, and we're quick with it. Yeah, like it's just that's our ideal, or a big tree job in an open field where you're not worried about locates, and like if you're doing city trees, you're locating every single property, so that's like sometimes 150 locates, separate locate packages, right? But if you're doing one, say like a distribution center, it's one big set of locates, and if you don't see any paint, you plant that tree and you make your X amount of dollars, right?
And 90% of the distribution center is private property.
Yeah.
So they'll only locate the outside.
Yeah.
Right. They won't locate inside on the private property. So you just hope you don't dig up the gas main.
No, you shouldn't. It's only 2 feet. Trees.
Yeah. Trees. No one's ever
Yeah.
dug up anything big on trees.
Well, we haven't yet. Knock on wood.
So
Knock on wood.
I don't know if you guys saw my I launched my Guru platform today.
Yeah.
I did. I
Is
tried
there
to
an
sign
app
up.
to go with
Yeah.
it? Like the whole.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten that far with it yet. It's so mostly it's a satirical effort where I'm trying to prove that you can take any quote and turn it into a guru business quote. You know, if you take any quote on the planet and spin it enough, you can make it into some kind of guru level business quote. So that's what I was trying to prove today, because all three quotes had absolutely fuck all to do with business in any
And
way.
did you get any hits? Like, are people signing up?
No, well, some people expressed interest. I think on my next, I think though, we need a gathering place of gurus. So on my next post, I'm going to request that everyone tag their favorite gurus in my guru post.
Oh, that's good.
So we can have
I love that.
a real gathering place of gurus where everyone who follows Paper King tag your favorite guru, and we can just see how many gurus get tagged. That being said, I did some show prep.
I want to send you some quotes and see how you can turn them into some sort of guru quote.
I'm happy with that. I'm
gonna look up some heinous quotes and send them your way.
these. Well, I have some interesting quotes here, and these quotes are, I want to do the same thing that Mike. I felt like Mike's thing where we could only answer 1 through 3, and we had to judge the quote. So these are. I want you guys to think about these. These are some people, famous people, that are referring to some of their business, we'll call it. And I want to judge.
Are they actual gurus, or are they like?
Well, they're gurus from in the business they're in, and I feel like this little subsection of this episode will. I just want to prove to people how stupid guru quotes are, and how you can take anything and turn it into a guru quote, and gurus can use anything to quote back to you. So, and we're going to judge these 1 to 5, no using 3, and you're going to talk about how you could use this in your business. So here's quote number 1, and this quote is from Tony Soprano, and the quote is, "There's no retiring from this."
That's a landscape quote.
Yeah,
for sure. He was a landscaper before this Tony Soprano guy.
So when you think about the Tony Soprano quote, "There's no retiring from this," I felt like, 1 to 5, no use of 3. Someone's got to go first.
I feel like he took that from you. I feel like that's a Paper King quote that Tony Soprano then took and made it his.
Maybe.
I give it a good solid 4. I give it a 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the lifestyle, I feel like it's completely relevant to landscaping. Although I wish it weren't, because I don't want to be doing this at 60 years old. While I was on the beach, I thought about my exit strategy. And so if I'm following this quote, there's no, what is it? There's no exit from this. There's no
retiring.
No retiring from this.
No retiring from this. Fuck, it's too true. That's a 5.
5. Okay.
Too true.
All right, you guys ready for
5 right off the bat? Wait, PK, what's your score on that?
Oh, I think it's I think it's a 5 for me personally.
Wow.
I don't think I'm ever retiring from this, because I will. I don't think I'm ever. I found a house in Thunder Bay on 75 acres of land, and it's absolutely. I mean, this house is absolutely knockout gorgeous. 75 acres of land. The house is incredible. $425,000.
Wow.
And I texted to Kelly, and Kelly's like, "In someone else's pipe dream, that's a beautiful fucking house, but not us, because we're never retiring." I was like, "Yep, pretty
I'm
much."
sure they need trucking in Thunder Bay. Right?
Yeah, there's probably some kind of old boys club there you'd have to work hard to break into.
Yeah.
I would guess that they ain't hiring the new guy in Thunder Bay.
if you take massive enough action, you can break into that club.
I'm thinking about in the Paver King group, I want everyone to go 20Y. You know, there's these 10Xers. Fuck that, man. We're going 20Y. XYZ. XYZ. We don't fuck around with the X. We go right to the motherfucking Y. 20Y. Paver King group is going to go 20Y. We don't fuck around with 10X. That's bullshit.
I first thought Y, like WHY.
No, Y. 20Y. Why would you go 10X when you can go 20Y with Paver King?
Gotcha.
Just go twice as hard as you would when you were 10X in it. You can go 30Z. 30Z is next, motherfucker. Like, all right, you guys ready for quote 2? Because this is a good one. I like this one. This is one of my favorites of the ones that I looked up.
Yeah.
This quote is from Dexter Morgan.
Oh.
It is truly amazing the things you can do when you put your mind to it. I don't know if you guys know who Dexter Morgan is, but
that's straight out of the Guru's mouth.
A little bit famous right there. Yeah. I think that's, you know, I think if you're a guru, and some people don't know who the fuck Dexter Morgan is, you could say amazing things happen when you put your mind it's truly amazing the things you can do when you put your mind to it. Where do you put that in a landscaping version, Mike?
It's truly, I don't like those type of quotes, those mindset quotes. So I'm going to give that a 1, because if you need to be reminded of what's possible for you to do, I think you're a little bit behind the 8 ball. So if you need a quote to kind of pick yourself up like that, hey, all to you. So that gets a 1 from me.
A 1. How about you, Chad?
I feel like there's a university girl with that tattooed across her like shoulder blade. Like,
and she doesn't know that it came from a serial killer?
Yeah.
Or like, I feel like Mr. Rogers could have made that quote like 30 years ago, 40 years ago or something, right?
And then underneath the tattoos, Carpe Diem.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So you're saying you think that the serial killer Dexter Morgan copied that quote? I think Mr. Rogers. That's what you're saying.
Or maybe it's so unoriginal that it just seems that way. Like it's not this. That's a hot air guru quote. That's a 1. That's a 1.
So that quote was a 1 for me too, but I felt like that's the kind of shit that a guru would shove down someone's throat.
Yeah.
And it's actually a quote from a fictitious serial killer. But some guru would probably fucking use that as a quote. All right, so here's number 3. And this is from Omar Little. Do you guys know who Omar Little is? Omar Little was one of the kingpin drug dealers on the show The Wire.
We couldn't get into that show.
I've been meaning to watch it.
The best fucking show on TV.
Everybody says it's the best.
Best show that ever.
Yeah,
best show. I know. I'm rewatching it right now. Best show that ever existed.
Wow.
I tried.
By far. There's nothing. So Omar Little, one of the kingpins on The Wire, his quote is, "Money don't have no owners, only spenders."
I feel like that's something that a toothless landscaper or a roofer would say to a client in order to get them to sign up for a job. Like,
so if you're hard pressing, if you want to hard press a sale, when you need to get the signature on paper, you quote Omar Little from The Wire, because that's who gets the signature on the paper. Omar Little from The Wire. That's who gets the
signatures on papers. He's a closer.
So I have this quote at a 4 because I think it's true. I think it relates to business in a whole bunch of ways. Like, people, spending money in business that they shouldn't spend, or trying to get people to spend money on their business. I thought it was a pretty relevant quote. I also like Omar. He was a good character. He's a good guy. So I got this at a 4. I felt this, and I also felt like this is the kind of shit that, since we're doing this just to prove that you can take quotes from obscure fictitious drug dealers on TV shows that are 10 years old and still make it sound like a guru thing. I thought that this is literally something some guru would be screaming. I could see Gary Vanderchuck fucking yelling this if he ever read this Omar Little quote. This is a Gary V quote right here for sure.
I was thinking of 4 too. I just, I mean, it's a healthy economy if money's moving around, right? If people are spending, so I give it a 4.
Say the quote again one more time.
Money don't have no owners, only spenders.
Yeah. No, it's good.
It's deep.
It's deep. I don't like the poor grammar, but who am I to say anything about that? Let's go for.
That's
Let's
the
go
whole
for the
Chad, listen, Omar, Chad doesn't like your fucking grammar. All right. This one, this
Chad
is from
did graduate as an English major, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad for sure. The grammar.
Yeah, I see. I only ever think of Chad's secondary education as a hair cutter.
That's right.
Barber.
Yeah.
I never think about the first degree, the English major. I only ever think about the second degree of the barber. I just that's just always occurs to me that you gave up barbering to. It never occurs to me you gave up Englishing to become a landscaper.
Englishing, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what do you call it.
Landscaping is the only thing I like to do.
Don't you ever wish you took landscaping at school?
Honestly, I didn't even know you could take landscaping at school.
I know, neither did I. That's why I fucking didn't.
I would have been Red Seal. I would have been something. I wanted to be a carpenter at one point. My guidance counselor told me no, I wasn't allowed. So, anyway.
Really?
Yeah, they said that my grades were too good to go into trade school.
That's
because
so
of
fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was a load of shit. Anyway.
So I've never watched this show. So I just love this quote. And it's from Cookie, who's in the show Empire. And the quote is, I'm always gonna eat, just not with you.
Yeah, no, 5.
I think it's a 5 too. This
Yeah,
is
that's
fucking
good.
that quote fucking knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna eat, just not with you. I fucking loved it. I was like, read it. And I was like, I don't even know this person. I might watch this fucking show just to see her say that to someone. That is a sick quote.
That is a good quote.
Yeah.
And it's true. I've had conversations with people we do business with where I'm like, if you're trying to grow to this point, the people who are in the room, you better look around because they all ain't going to be with you. The people who were there with you at 1 million are not going to be the same people that are there with you at 10. A couple of them might be, but they all ain't going to make it because they're not going to adjust to the change fast enough. They're not going to want to adjust. They're going to want things to stay the way they always were. They're going to do things the way they were always done. They're just not going to adjust because you can't run a company at $1 million the same way you run it at 10. Those things just don't happen. And there's going to be people who fall to the wayside. And I'm going to eat. I'm just not with you.
I can also see a guru saying that to the haters.
Yes.
Being like, no, I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
You're just not going to be with my haters, right?
Yeah. I could see gurus saying that. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. In their
I like that one.
In their black tie ballroom thing. If you're not going to eat with you on their black tie affair.
Okay, so
and that's all we'll say about that.
That's all Chad will bring up. So this is my favorite quote, and I feel like this, if this was taken out of context by a guru, and we've actually heard some landscape gurus discuss this kind of business and then transforming this kind of business into another kind of business. There has been some discussion of that on other places. So I felt like this quote was really relevant and I liked it. And I feel like if you took it out of context and changed a couple of things, this could come directly out of a guru's mouth. And this quote's from Walter White from Breaking Bad. It says, "You asked me if I was in the meth business or the money business. Neither. I'm in the empire business." And I feel like that is so fucking guru, especially if you switch that meth to any other word. Yeah. But I mean, right now there's gurus who you could just leave the meth right fucking in. It doesn't matter.
That's their side hustle.
So yeah. I felt like this, of all the quotes, this was pure guru shit. This is the kind of thing that a guru would love. They would eat this up. They would just be like,
In the context of that show, though, like that was so good. I can't separate the show from the quote, at least the context. And I love that show. So
yes.
in the context of that show, I give it a 5.
I think if I was a guru and I said it, I'd get a fucking. You imagine the crowd of people chanting when you say that. I'm in the empire business. I might use that quote tomorrow for my own. I'm not in the landscaping business or the money business. I'm in the goddamn empire business. I might recycle this tomorrow. I might use this. This is good shit. This could fill my funnel right here. I could get the credit. I started thinking about it today. Like I could get credit card on file. I've never had a business where I needed credit card on file.
Are you allowed to have a credit card on file?
That's what all the grass guys do. Root debt. Bro,
I've been trying to get Sunbelt to put my credit card on file forever because they're trying to collect on old invoices. Just charge the card. Just charge it. They said we can't charge the card. We're not allowed to keep it on file.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a company policy.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know.
Dude, if you're in the lawn game, you talk root density and credit card on file, or you don't fucking talk at all.
I feel like you should be on that with your trucking, right? You should have the contractor's credit card on file and
Oh, I never thought about this.
Yeah, and tell them
this is groundbreaking shit right now.
I never thought about this. Oh, I got another gold nugget for you. Keep your root dense.
Yeah, well, you know what, Mike? I'm gonna up you one. Know your numbers.
Oh.
I'm upping you one there, right there, Mike.
This podcast is off the rails.
It's totally train wreck off the rails. So where are you? I'm rating this meth business quote of 5 because I'm using this shit. This is fucking great. I'm in the empire business, baby. I am. Well, see, so we do send out invoices through QuickBooks that people can pay with a credit card, but we don't actually keep credit card on file. But I wonder how many of our clients would actually be down for that, because in their bills, because we have a lot of clients who are working in their business like they fucking should if they want to. And they don't, they get over, like, the office gets really busy and they're trying to close jobs down. And so it's not that but if we had a credit card on file, we could probably charge it and they would be happy as shit that they didn't have to deal with that anymore. Because these are people we have long-term relationships with. We've done a lot of business with that. Even if they reviewed something and found a mistake, we'd always come back. Like, if there was some, but like, yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good idea. I might investigate that with the office tomorrow. But this podcast is a little off the rails.
We have that. Sometimes, like, I don't love to take credit card payments because they take the percentage, right? Yeah. So we have that little. It's like, it's not a triangle and it's not a circle, but it's the other shape that goes into your phone or whatever. If we're not going to rep them on the podcast, anyway.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
You get it? Some people may get it. It's a shape, and it takes a credit card. Yeah. But anyway,
4 equal sides.
Yeah, 4 equal sides, and we'll take a credit card payment, and then I'll forget about it, and then they'll send me the money like a week or 2 later from that organization, and then my bookkeeper will go, "What the fuck? Like, why aren't these numbers matching up?" And then like, "Yeah, well, they took their percentage, and that's why it doesn't work." And then I said, "You deal with it." And she's like, "Oh, we gotta find a better system than this." So anyway.
And you said there is no octagon system.
There's no octagon. There's nothing. We need credit card on file.
You need credit card on file. I'm amazed now. I love credit card on file. I'm going to start working on the root density of the trucks. That is a thing, though. That is like, that's true. Like, now we're really getting fucking. But like, if someone's digging a pool or someone's fucking got a huge dig out and they're using, multiple bins in a day, that is good because you're all in one place. The root density is good. I like to do this little review. I feel like this is going to be like a once a week thing that we do, this little review. It's important to me. I think it's important to the listeners. I think it also promotes the fact that we have an Instagram account that not even 300 people follow, but they should, because I feel like there's a lot of important shit going down on that Instagram account. And it's time for the Not Our Finest Hour polls.
No.
So here's the first poll from last week. Most likely to become a meme. Landscape Daddy, 30%. I am a hardscaper, 5%. Paper King, 65%.
Well,
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm most likely to become a meme. This was an interesting breakdown, and this one came in really tight, fellas. Most likely to add cottage cheese to a meal. This is groundbreaking. People who are not on our Instagram account do not understand what they're missing. I like just so Landscape Daddy, 27%. I am a hardscaper, 35%. Paver King, 38%.
wow.
And I blame my recent health kick. So I immediately gave up the vegetarianism when I saw this poll, and I went right back to eating pepperoni sticks because fuck that. People are voting that I'm going to put cottage cheese and shit. This is totally ridiculous.
What do you think makes it seem like you two are cottage cheese guys?
I would have assumed Chad for sure. No, probably PK. Yeah. That makes
really?
sense. Yeah.
What makes sense about? I actually really like cottage cheese in lasagna. Kills
Yes, in lasagna, fine.
it crushes it.
I think that's
Really?
the only thing.
Who fucking hates lasagna?
Everybody says that. I think it was the way my mom made it because it was like she threw in those canned tomatoes and canned mushrooms and a bunch of like canned veggies into it. So it
I don't remember there being any vegetables in the lasagna that I had as a kid.
yeah, that they ruined it for me. I hate lasagna.
It was like meat, noodles, cheese, cottage cheese, tomatoes. There was no can of mushrooms.
So imagine that goodness, but then you add canned mushrooms and canned tomatoes.
I understand where you're coming from with this. I felt this poll had a very interesting result. This was an interesting. This one really. I think that it shows that the person who won this poll has a very, very deep. Something's trying to get out, and everyone recognizes it. Most likely to star is The Equalizer.
I don't know who The Equalizer is.
Denzel Washington. There's a movie called The Equalizer where he's like an old FBI agent and he kills everybody in the Russian mob at once.
I think there's 2 or 3 movies too.
I think there's.
I was thinking it was The Punisher, the guy with the black guy, the black suit there. I don't know. This is over my head. Anyway.
So Landscape Daddy, 32%. Paver King, 27%. I am a hardscaper, 41%. So
wow.
People think Mike's got some shit going on behind the scenes.
But they also think that I'm the first to die in an action movie. So I'm the Equalizer, but in the very first scene, I'm dead.
Okay. I like this question. And most likely to attend the WEF forum in Davos.
I had to look into this what it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You didn't know what it was?
I had no I didn't know.
You had no idea who Klaus Schwab was.
No, I have no idea that. I recognize like the World Economic Forum. What is it?
Yeah, World Economic Forum. Our lizard overlords.
Yeah, I didn't.
They get together once a year to decide how we are all going to get. You didn't see the video of the woman who identifies as a flutist but has never played the flute?
No.
At the World Economic Forum?
No, are you serious?
Pretending to play the flute, going,
woo! Are you serious?
Yes.
And they were being serious.
Yes. People were Trudeau, Freeland, they were all fucking there. Klaus Schwab, fucking Biden, watching the woman that identifies as a flutist. So Landscape Daddy, 28%. Paver King, 28%. We're tied. I am a hardscaper, 44%. And I'm going to guess Mike's most likely to attend it because he doesn't even know what it is. So Mike would be there with the lizard overlords talking about
What did they talk about at this? Because I've seen one quote where it's like
they just got
you're not gonna own anything in the future and you're gonna love it.
yeah,
Right? That's the only thing I knew.
The Great Reset. The WEF just petitioned the European Union to allow them food manufacturers to start putting crickets into the food, ground up crickets as a protein supplement, and
that's Snowpiercer stuff.
So that the European Union has just approved through the WEF, and Canada just signed an agreement that the WEF is going to take over our healthcare or something.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's big time shit when people actually start. It's like all the conspiracy theories that everyone's like, that guy's a conspiracy theorist. And then it's like, no, that's actually true. And they just literally say it. Yeah, everyone's going to own nothing. They literally give a speech about it. Christina Freeland just gave a speech there about how the middle class has to make less money. That's how they're going to fix Canada. This is not a rumor. She literally gave a speech. It's fucked up. Anyways, Mike's going to go. He's attending next year, him and Greta.
Am I a supporter or a protester?
Oh, you didn't even know what it was. I think you're just just someone there.
I'm there for the free food.
You're
Mike's
there.
Putting crickets in his cottage cheese.
This was most likely to take massive action. Paver King 42%. I am a hardscaper 19%. Landscape Daddy 39%.
Wow.
I don't know why people thought I would take massive action. I'm old and slow. And clearly Chad is definitely the one who takes massive action.
No, Chad takes the massivest actions. The most massivist. Yeah.
I know. I totally agree.
Does it just come natural to you, Chad?
What's that?
Does taking massive action just come natural to you, or do you have to work on it?
I've grown into it over the years. Now it comes natural. At first it didn't. I still don't know what massive action is.
I think taking massive action is buying a skid steer. That's massive action.
See, to some people that's massive action. To some people, that's not even like times 5. You know, they buy skid steers all the time.
There's always going to be somebody.
That's a W5.
Yeah.
That's X10, Y 20Y.
20Y.
5W, 10X, 20Y, 30Z, 30Z.
There's always going to be somebody that's 10x harder than you.
Oh, there's always going to be someone taking massive action, but I think that you have to also judge how massive your action is versus your current position. Adding a skid steer to your fleet is pretty massive action. It's like if Mike buys a shovel. Sorry, Mike, I couldn't stop. I know it's only because you rent everything. That's only
a good shovel. A good shovel.
He won't own a thing and he'll love it.
Mike doesn't own a thing and he loves it. And he's heading to the fucking WEF for him.
Oh, man. You guys, I'm going to go eat my cottage cheese now.
You're the Klaus Schwab of landscaping. Have you ever seen Klaus Schwab?
I haven't. No.
Dresses up like Darth Vader, wears big leather.
Like a villain.
Oh yeah, he looks like a most likely to put ketchup on steak. Landscape Daddy 25%. I am a hardscaper 39%. Paver King 36%. Do you put ketchup on steak, Mike?
No. Medium rare.
Medium rare. See, I would eat steak well done. I eat everything well done though. I'm a well done person. I'm a well done person. How do you eat your steak, Chad?
Medium rare. Although in Dominican everything is well done. So
yeah.
Steak.
That's probably better. Sometimes you want things to be well done.
Yeah, I suppose. We went to a resort last year and the chicken was rare.
That's something you're looking for to be well done.
Yeah, usually.
When you want it to be well done, it's rare. When you want
I thought you were going to like Costa Rica or somewhere.
No, it's a couple of weeks we're going to Costa Rica.
Okay.
Round 2.
What are you buying after you get back from Costa Rica?
The SVL 75 should be in March.
Nice.
So, and we got to pick up our new float this week. They've been hounding me to come get the float. So,
You can only bring one home to meet your parents. I thought this poll had interesting results. Paver King 30%.
wow.
I am a hardscaper 33%. Landscape Daddy 37% of people
Really?
want you to
Wow.
come home to meet their parents, Chad. I don't know if they saw you taking massive action in Dominican there, but
I'm pretty
You
good
are-
with parents.
you are the bring them home to daddy.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why anybody would want me to meet their parents. But
I think this poll's rigged. Most likely to bring no value to the recording tonight. Paver King 61%.
well, that was a given.
I am a hardscaper 9%, landscape daddy 30%. And that is the conclusion of this week's polls. We invite you to follow our Instagram account and for more and participate in the polls. You too can be an active participant on the Not Our Finest Hour podcast.
Making history.
Oh, people can actually send us voicemails as well. Speakpipe.com/not our finest hour. If you want to leave us a voicemail.
We should post that link.
Yeah, I've thought about that this week actually, and then I forgot.
Super organized.
I was too busy at my WEF forum thing.
Eating crickets and cottage cheese. I listened to your podcast this week with the guy from the Green Industry podcast.
Oh yeah.
And I found it interesting, the whole the 90 days of reels.
Yeah.
To get to 100,000. And I thought that wouldn't happen for me with my shadow banned non-American account. But I was happy for him.
Yeah.
I think that you have to find something that's satisfying. Like he found something in the cutting the grass that was satisfying, and he was talking about blowing the grass the wrong way that's controversial. And I don't have anything like that.
So
unless I'm going to drive one of the trucks off a bridge.
There was something, and he talked about that actually there. One thing he did was he found something that hit, right? And then he reused that video with different hit songs and stuff.
Yes.
Now that's like if you just want to get followers or whatever, but he also mentioned, like you said, blowing the grass onto the driveway or whatever, and then people comment. What you're looking for are those things that cause people to comment. Like I saw something recently, I forget what it was, but it had two people on the screen, and then it had their ages, and then the ages didn't make sense because it was like a father son or something like that. And it caused people to comment. So if you went into the comments, you saw that all these people are like, the ages don't make sense. You can't be his dad or whatever, right? So doing something that's like a mistake, an intentional mistake, yeah, that caused people to comment, because this reel got like a lot of views.
I started thinking about, because I think that guy's super smart, and I started thinking about it, and then like he was talking about how he posted the same clip over and over again because it worked really well, just to different music and in different ways. But I was like, I wouldn't do that to my account to get 100,000 followers. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not criticizing his choice. I understand he's doing it as a business and he wants to get sponsorships, and it's not a personal thing for him. Like the Green Industry podcast account is it's not him personally.
Yeah.
Like, is he even on it?
I have no idea, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. But I started thinking about it. Like, do I want to post 90 days? If I say I have a couple reels that hit pretty hard, do I want to repost them over and over and over and over again to different viral music and fill the people who follow me's feed with this to get to 100,000 followers? And I decided it's not important enough to me. I don't care. It's not what I'm doing it for. So, although I obviously it worked, and I mean, props to him. Like that's great. It's a great accomplishment. I think he was talking about how he gets millions of views in India. Like I don't I want like 500 landscape contractors to think my content's funny. I don't want 5 million people in India watching it. So
Yeah.
like,
And that comes down to like deciding what you want, like why you want to grow, right?
yes,
And
exactly.
defining that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He wants to grow to monetize.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't want to, like, if I was going to try to build an account to monetize hardscape wise, I would start a whole new account.
Mm-hmm.
I'd start from zero, because
That's like
the account that I have now, that I have a lot of personal, like, to me, there's a lot of personal valuable stuff there that I don't want getting watered down by the same video 50 times with different music.
mm-hmm. That's like me with my How to Hardscape account, because for so long, I came to the conclusion early on that I just wanted to post photos and keep it as like a community portfolio almost. And then reels were popping off, and I could have started to post reels, but then that would get me away from what I decided, the purpose of the How to Hardscape Instagram account to be. So I decided I'm not going to repost any reels, right? But I definitely could have reposted reels and gotten much more of an audience following it, but it didn't serve the purpose of what I wanted it to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Because since reels have been like pushed, my growth on it has been completely flat.
They're saying they're going to push photos next year.
I saw that.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I'm not being critical either. Because originally when I listened to that podcast, I was like, man, that's really fucking smart. That guy, I was really good, and I'm going to do that. And then, last night I was hauling snow, and I was out making multiple videos of trucks getting loaded by loaders and snow, because I'm like, oh, maybe this will hit off, and then I can repost it 50 times. And then I posted it once, and I was like, there's no fucking way I'm reposting this video of snow getting loaded in our truck.
What you should do
if 5 million people in Indonesia watch this video, I don't give a fuck. I'm never reposting it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not me. It's not me as a person, and I wouldn't be happy with it, so I'm never doing it.
What you should do is post it, and then in the actual video put text like, watch this, and then whatever, like, mistake the piece of equipment, load up this truck. So like
I have another video. We'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah. Watch this. I don't know.
I'm gonna say like Case Loader smashes truck. Then people are gonna be like, that's a John Deere loader and it never hits the truck.
Just be like,
that's a good idea.
Watch this mini skid steer load up this truck. And it's this big loader loading up a truck. And then people are like, that's not a mini skid steer. That's the way to explode your paper king account.
I'm gonna try that tomorrow. I think it was fun. Like the stuff you were saying, I'm gonna try it. I just couldn't try it on a mass scale, like every day for 90 days. It just was not. But that was a really good. What episode number was that?
190, I think.
So everyone should go listen to episode 190 of How to Hardscape podcast if you're not listening to that, because that was a fucking killer episode. That guy has so much amazing information. Such a smart guy.
Paul Jameson, by the way.
There you go. That guy. The guy.
Paul's a great guy.
He seems like, I've never met him, but he seems like a nice guy, and he was super honest and open about everything. I really loved that hour. I listened to the whole hour, and it was great. You got your 96% retention from me, motherfucker. Sometimes I listen to only half of the Kid Contractor podcast and shut it off, even though I want to listen to the rest of it just to fuck with his numbers. I'm just joking. Caleb's gonna have 20 DMs fucking with his number. No, I never don't do that at all. I actually try to listen to everything all the way through. Now that you told me that's a metric, I always try to listen to the whole thing now. I didn't realize it was a metric, because sometimes you get out, you go in the store, you come back, someone phones you. Now I try to always go back and listen to the whole episodes for everybody, because I think it's like I try not to get lost in it.
I don't know if their hosting would measure that. The reason why ours does is because Anchor, where we're hosting our podcast, is owned by Spotify. So Spotify and Anchor can exchange those metrics. Like most podcast applications are not transparent with those type of statistics, but since Spotify owns Anchor, we have the statistics of what our retention is on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I still listen. I like listening to the whole thing, but anyways, that's why I'm just joking. Don't shut off people's podcasts intentionally. Anyways, I thought that was a good episode, Mike. It was very
Oh, thank you.
informative, and it was super interesting. It was a good episode.
And thanks for the promotion. I appreciate it.
Well, you know me. Wow. Speaking look, so just I know you guys. Someone won't see this until it's up on the. We were cleaning out our office the other day, and Kelly found a bunch of these babies.
Wow.
Ooh. The camera blurs it out.
There you go. Found a whole bunch of these babies, and if they were paying us right now, we'd be talking about it. But they're not, so we are not talking about what I'm showing on the camera right now. Too bad for them. Missed opportunity.
Get completely passive aggressive.
To be perfectly, you know what? I should actually mention this because I mean they did give me these, like they did send me these blades. So I'm holding a Shocks blade from Blades Direct. Well, I'll be honest because they did actually, they did. To be fair to them, and last year I didn't do as much because I was driving the truck. So I should make a Shocks blade into the steering wheel of my truck.
Ooh.
That's not dangerous.
No. Well, you'd have to do it used ones, so it's not sharp, right? The diamonds are gone. So interestingly, Chad will be interested in this. One of a driver, not one of ours for sure, got one of those spinny things for her steering wheel.
I thought those were illegal.
Well, they are, but it's fucking awesome. You got to get one. Whatever the fine is, it's totally fucking worth it. A spinny thing. The
My
spinny thing
lawnmower
kicks
had one of
ass.
those.
The spinny thing doesn't your loader have one?
Yeah, it does. Does it? I don't know now.
Why won't your
They're
backhoe
allowed
start?
on motors, but not on trucks. Oh, you
I
drive
don't
my
know why
loader on
they're. I don't know why they're illegal on trucks. They're sick though. I'm getting
Yeah,
one
they're
for
pretty cool.
my bin truck's getting certified, so I haven't had it in a while. So
Don't you have two bin trucks?
we have two, yeah, but we're trying to switch everything over to the limited company. So everything has to get certified to do that, which is crazy awesome midwinter.
Yeah.
To certify
No
everything
money is
you
coming
own.
in.
No
Yep.
money's coming. Yeah, it's awesome. So that truck got certified in December, and now it's getting recertified at the end of January. So it shouldn't actually be much, but we're working on it. So
Yeah, we got to redo all our stickers and safeties and all that shit too the next few weeks. So that'd be great. Another, I don't know, 10 grand probably. We're in it for.
So
The trucks need new tires.
I think the stickers now for the tracks, those are $3,200 each, and the bin trucks are $2,000. So we're like,
Let's say
we're like
my
10.
was 1,800.
Yeah, we're gonna be with all the other little pickups and stuff. We'll be 10K and just stickers,
Yeah,
something like that.
but you know your numbers, so
I do.
you'll be able to recoup that pretty easily.
I think
Within
you
a
need
week
a
or two,
software to
right?
be able to do that.
Get some software, recoup my numbers. Do you know anyone that has software like that, Mike?
I think I do. I think I know someone really well, actually.
Yeah, it might help me recoup my numbers.
Yeah.
Now I need someone that can help me produce invoices in my trucks. Mike, are you going to be that person?
I could be that person.
I saw you write that down last time I mentioned it.
Did I? Yeah, I probably did somewhere in my notes.
The problem solving.
It shouldn't be that hard, right? That just is. If would this solve it for you? If you went into your CRM while you were there, chose the client,
Well,
and
I think
invoiced them from that.
First, I would need a CRM.
Well, that's part of the software, right?
Okay. Yeah. I think if the drivers had access to the CRM and could go to the client and the client was registered, yes.
Well, you would be able to choose what your drivers could see. So you would like check mark the CRM so that they could see the CRM so that they could bill people from their CRM.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's essentially what we're trying to do is let them have access to, so they can create an invoice right there on the spot. and then that gets emailed to the client, and then the client knows, because right now there's just so many tickets floating around. Like, you know, like we're like this week has been slow, and it's going to be minus 40 tomorrow, so we're doing nothing. I'm not starting any of my shit when it's minus 25 or 29 or whatever. Because it's going to be warm again on fucking Monday, so, or 0, -2. So why you would start all your shit tomorrow for one day to work at minus 29? We are not starting anything of ours tomorrow. I lost track of what I was fucking talking about this now. Totally fucking.
We're into our worst hours, so that doesn't matter.
Perfect.